This is Minecraft. Wait, no, wrong footage. Let's try this again. This is Minecraft. Okay, seriously, editor? What are you putting on the screen? This is not Minecraft. What? You're saying it is? What do you mean, take a closer look? Wait, you're right. This is Minecraft. What the? So, to build all of Elden Ring, obviously we need to play it. Not just play it, but study it, observe it, and all of its magnificence. Figure out how we can make this possible in Minecraft. Let's boot it up.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The lands between. Queen Marika the Eternal, Godwyn the Golden, the loathsome dung-eater.
Okay. That was, I don't know what I just watched. But anyways, we're gonna start playing the game now. Treasure chest ahead. I gotta think about this one. Where's my treasure? It's a bad guy. Let's get him. I regret everything. You have 8 arms, it's not fair. You're like Michael Jordan, but times 8. And I'm dead. It's just like Dark Souls, for real. So we can actually build the first area really quickly as it's isolated from the main game. This isn't too hard. It's just 2 plateau areas with a cathedral and a cliff at the end. Let's continue. Alright, let's open this door. Whoa! Whoo! That is a crazy world in front of me. You guys who are recommending me to build this in Minecraft, you're insane, dude. You're insane. You got good taste in video games. Just want to let you know that. Alright, that's enough. Let's talk to this NPC to get the lore of the land.
Oh, yes.
Oh, he looks friendly.
Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without
Maidenless?
Without the
what is this guy's problem? Bro, you're kneecapless. Yeah, bring it, bro. Swing him. Oh! Hey. That guy's cheating. You're cheating. I hate you. You're cheating. Alright, we're gonna take a break from Elden Ring and build the Church of Elleh, which is the first area of the game. This is also a pretty easy build to make, with only the statue on top being a little bit complex. Let's get back to the gameplay. Yes, game, I know that I died. Thank you for telling me. Yo, is this guy spawn camping? They're really just letting him spawn camp me like this? Okay, bring it, dude. That fire's stupid. This is stupid. This game is stupid. Why is he still attacking me? He's just gonna cam me for eternity. Okay. I see how this is going. Yeah, okay. Use your little flower, yeah. You're really just not gonna let this go, huh? Man, unlike Dark Souls 3, they actually made bleed good. What is that? This is not fair. Are you kidding me? Here we go again. Man, it's gonna be harder to beat the game than building the whole thing in Minecraft at this rate. Okay, here's the plan. When I respawn, that guy's gonna attack me, right? So I'm gonna run away from him, and then juke them both out when they both attack me, and run to that church up ahead. Alright, let's do it. Roll that. Okay, roll that. Alright, we're out of there. Let's go to the church. Let's go. Yes, we made it. Alright, he's too big. He's not going to be able to get in. We win. Wait, what? Wait, he's destroying the church. Oh! Don't just sit there, help me, man! What are you doing? Okay, I'm gonna try and fight him. Maybe I can take him. I do no damage. Ah! Okay, alright, roll. Wait, it's a bonfire. Okay, give me the bonfire, Light the bonfire. Try to sit at the bonfire! Oh my. Okay, run. Gonna go around here, alright. We're going. Hey! Alright, sit at the grave! Oh! That was insane. Alright, that was pretty crazy, but now we're taking a break to build the Church of Elleh, which is where we ended up resting. This was the easiest build to make so far, and there's nothing really of note except there's all these runes here. Alright, what's up with this guy? Is he gonna be a boss too? Is he gonna kill me in 2 hits? Alright, we're gonna sneak attack him. Boom! Backstab! Oh wait, he actually went down in 1 hit. Wow! After this point, the game got much easier. I ran around the map for a while, taking in everything while exploring and fighting. It was a pretty nice experience, and really felt like I was on an adventure in an unfamiliar world. Oh my, who's coming to kill me now? I just want to rest. What abomination am I about to fight?
Have you heard of the Finger Maidens?
You know, that's a really weird thing to just come up to somebody and start saying that.
But you are maidenless.
Oh.
I can play the role of maiden.
Wait, really? Holy, she's giving me her... It's the horse!
Use
it's the
it
horse item!
to
She's just
traverse
giving me the
great
horse!
distances.
Someone's finally helping me!
It will summon
Yes!
a spectral steed.
Okay, let's try it out. Yes, we got a horse. This is gonna make going around the map so much easier. Typical FromSoft gameplay, ladies and gentlemen. If I get a horse, they gotta give all the enemies a bigger horse to balance it out, of course. Thank you, Miyazaki. Thank you so much. So I started to realize something at this first camp. I'm going to have a lot of trouble making this world in Minecraft, and it's going to be very time-consuming if I keep using the same method that I'm using right now. Elden Ring is a very big game, and there's always these little camps and little buildings and structures everywhere that invite you to explore them. We can't keep building this by itself. We have to have a plan. If we're going to successfully make this in Minecraft, we gotta go big. We gotta think big. We gotta think whole picture, whole game. So with this in mind, we're going to change how we approach the game and how we're going to build this. Here's the plan. We're going to separate the building of this entire map into 2 parts. Terrain and building. We gotta make the terrain first, which means we need to explore all of Elden Ring. After we're done with terrain, we'll start working on the builds. We also need to identify all common game assets that appear in the map, such as trees, bushes, rocks, and all the other weird things that we find. The starting zone of Elden Ring is called Limgrave, and it's defined by being a giant open plains biome with rivers and bright trees, while a gigantic golden tree looms in the background. Now, believe it or not, this tree is actually an area you can go to, and can be seen anywhere you are in the world. It also contains the craziest, most mind-blowing city I've ever seen in a video game. We'll be coming back to this giant tree later in the video. I'd be able to appreciate it better if everything wasn't trying to end me. Now this is genuinely overwhelming for me to think about, and I had no way of observing the terrain at this point. It was going to take a miracle, or rather, finding my first map, which not only showed close to accurate topography of the terrain, but also where the major structures are. This would prove to be extremely valuable information. Little did I know, this was the beginning of a journey with many hardships. Somebody ordered the goon squad, we gotta run. Let's get out of here. Why does this dog have Ultra Instinct? Dark Souls 3 dog. With this horse Melina gave us, it allowed us to travel the world much faster and collect more maps. And travel we did, far and wide across the lands of Limgrave, and more importantly, observing everything. I'm going to build all the Limgrave assets I found that were really common, such as rocks, trees, cemetery graves, and more.
Might have heard of me. Kenneth Haight. Next in line is the rightful ruler of Limgrave. Goodness gracious! Past! Which is tarnished. I am Kenneth Haight.
Now, while traveling around and making mental notes of every area, I ran into an especially nasty new biome where all the enemies seem much stronger. Gamers like to refer to this place as Florida. However, I will be calling it by its nickname, Caelid. This biome is a red rotten wastscape that has been corrupted and decayed by a mysterious liquid poison called scarlet rot. Your character can contract this poisonous disease by fighting certain enemies, or going near the lakes. If you get this disease, you are probably dead unless you can find a rest point nearby. This area was definitely not fun to explore at all.
Wow, whoever put this in the game needs a raise.
I basically had to run away from everything because they either poison or unalive me in 2 hits.
I'm gonna get hit by the smoke attack, guys. I bet it's gonna do 1 damage.
I got to this area called the Impassable Great Bridge and passed it pretty easily on my first try. This rewarded me with an insanely good ability called Flaming Strike, which was an absolute game changer. I built every common asset around Caelid, and this was the result. A bunch of rotting trees and rocks, very appropriate to my experience in-game. We also unlocked all the maps and made it to the edge of Caelid, where we could not proceed anymore. Turns out this was the opposite way to the rest of the map, so we needed to backtrack all the way back to Stormveil Castle. The journey ahead is still long and perilous.
Foul tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition.
We have now arrived at the first major dungeon, Stormveil Castle. This is all building and no terrain, so I'm going to be looking to get through here as fast as possible and return later.
You there? Come over here, would you?
Ah, you look like quite the shady individual.
You're tarnished, aren't you? I would advise against taking the main gate into the castle. It's tightly guarded.
I am not gonna listen to this guy.
Well, if you must go through the gates, I'll signal them to open. The gates! Open the gates!
I, Lurfing, challenge this castle. Ooh. Wait, I saw that attack. I saw it. I can dodge it. Boom, you see that? I can dodge bullets. Watch me. Watch me do it. Watch me dodge it. I'm too good at this game. I was trained by Caelid. This is nothing. This won't stop me. You can't stop me. Who's gonna stop me? Nobody. Okay, I don't know how I didn't dodge that. You stopped me a little bit. Congrats. But I'm gonna keep going. I see those turrets up there. I'm gonna react to it. Watch this. Watch this. Boom! How did I dodge that? I'm Neo from the Matrix right now. Guys, we made it. That wasn't really that bad. Okay, you know what? I take it back. Okay, actually, I take back my take back. This guy is super easy and he topples over like a domino. Look at this.
I am the Lord of all that is good.
And with that, Stormveil Castle is defeated. We now get to go on to the next section of the game.
This is a very nice view. I'm just gonna take a second to appreciate it. You really just had to do that, didn't you? And you ruined the moment. Thank you very much, skeleton. I really appreciate this. You know what? Have a good day. Goodbye.
The next area is Liurnia. Liurnia is a very long section of the game. Not only is it huge, but also has lots of weird rock formations we're going to have to do our very best to recreate. It also has unique trees that are different from the rest of the map. Also, crystals. We'll create this with multiple variants to use in Minecraft. There's also this manor with these hand guys. They were really annoying to deal with until I learned they were weak to fire.
Each of these guys should have a boss bar. What the heck is this? That's the... Yes, you're weak to fire. Writhe. Writhe in pain, evil hand. Yes, revenge. Revenge.
Getting through this castle also led us to this crystal area, where I found... Now, I wikied this person, and it's a whole 10-hour side quest that I just don't feel like doing. Hey guys, Editor Lurfing here. This turned out to be a huge mistake because this quest helps you unlock an entire underground map of Elden Ring. I actually missed this random elevator that takes you 1,000 meters underground in Limgrave. Whoops. Now to get to the next area. I had to run through a poison cave full of midgets attacking me, fight these bats, and destroy this guy, who does this much damage every hit. As long as I'm not dying in one hit, every fight is winnable. After all this, we've finally made our way to the next point of the game, the Altus Plateau. This is a giant golden plains and forest biome that is much higher in elevation compared to the rest of the map. It's a pretty wide and relaxing area. It's pretty obvious while exploring that in a lore sense, most of the major events that shape Elden Ring's world happen in this area. You can see a lot of evidence of wars fought, such as damaged holes, giant war towers, carriages, and much more. For now, we're just gonna build the war towers and come back later. I got my hands on all the maps of Altus, and ran into the first actually challenging boss fight of the game, the draconic tree sentinel. To progress to the next area, you have to beat this guy in a fight. I'm pretty sure I was underleveled for this, because this guy was basically 1 to 2-shotting me. He has unblockable lightning attacks, 1,000,000 health, a fireball spewing horse, and a giant lightning attack that nukes the entire ground. And he can throw it at you in a wave form too. This was the first boss I actually struggled with and died to him quite a few times. Little did I know, I was playing the game wrong. Now here's a multiple choice scenario for you guys. Which one do I choose here? The answer to me is pretty obvious. Ebola! The secret to beating this boss is going AFK. We have successfully made it to the next section of the game, which is where the giant erdtree city is located. Unfortunately, I cannot enter the city because I later learned that a boss in liurnia is required to get access to this door. I've been kind of running past a lot of very important things, and I was wondering when the game would finally put a roadblock in front of me. I went back and retraced my steps to see where I went wrong, which is where I found quite a few neat weapons and abilities, including the Giant Hunt Ash of War, Golem Greatbow, which lets you fire destructive giant arrows, and a certain overpowered poison weapon, which would be extremely valuable for the rest of the playthrough. It was pretty obvious that this giant castle I skipped in Liurnia was where I needed to go. However, to get access to this area, you have to grab a key behind this dragon and fight him. Once you've gotten to the castle, avoid 100 guys trying to eat you. Defeat the big dog. Avoid giant iron balls. Then burger flip this guy into oblivion.
You cannot escape me, hamburger. You must be cooked on both sides.
And now we challenge Rennala, the Moon Queen, the strongest mage to ever live in the lands between.
Wait, she's actually fighting back? Ain't no way that just happened. There's no way. You're kidding. You're kidding. Come on, I beat that. Are you serious? Oh. I think we got it. We got it. We got it. We got it.
Flee, my sweetings.
So now that we have defeated Rennala, we are allowed to get into Leyndell for a viewing of the giant erdtree that I mentioned earlier in this video. And yes, if you are wondering, we are building all of Leyndell in Minecraft later in this video. This is going to be the most challenging build to create in the whole map due to its complex size, structure, and the fact that we have to fit this into Minecraft. It's definitely going to be very difficult to recreate. As much as I like to go over this area right now, I'm going to leave this to a whole dedicated part of the video. And there might be enough content in this area to warrant another video just exploring this area. This city is insanely detailed, and there's too much to explore. This city, when I first saw it, had me in awe. This was the craziest video game city I have ever seen in my life. Just look at this. Look at all the detail. I wonder how long it took them to make this up. This city deserves a whole dedicated part of its video, and there's just too much to explore. So for now, we're going to stick to the main gameplay. I made my way through a whole gauntlet of enemies in this city, making my way to the giant erdtree, which looks even bigger up close. Keep in mind, I am level 35, in a place where you are recommended to be level 90. So every enemy encounter was absolutely brutal, and I had to run past or avoid most battles here. After sneaking around Leyndell and only fighting one-on-one battles with enemies, I made it to the top of the erdtree bridge. There, a big evil ghost attacked me, giving me a somewhat challenging battle that took a few good tries to beat. I assumed this was the final boss of this area, but turns out this was just the appetizer, and I had signed up for a 5-course meal of pain.
GG easy.
The real raid boss, Morgott, was guarding the final door to the erdtree.
What is thy business with these thrones? Ah, Godrick the Golden. The twin prodigies, Mikola and Malenia. General.
This guy is no pushover. I was greatly unprepared and undergeared to fight this guy. This was crazy. He was summoning weapons, spinning around like a Beyblade, and summoning giant swords from the sky. To top it all off, he'd just start randomly exploding and had a gigantic health bar. This guy absolutely wrecked me. My best weapons, poison gas, everything I did was barely effective. I couldn't think of any way to cheese him either. And then I thought about something. Remember caelid and the super poison that made me die if I got affected by it? Surely there is a way to inflict it on the other characters, right? And that's when I started rummaging through my inventory and found this weapon that I picked up earlier, an unupgraded ant spur rapier that inflicted scarlet rot when attacking. This weapon is my key to bridging the level gap. I am refusing to grind or defeat dungeons. My goal is moving forward, and I must see what is inside the great erdtree. With this in mind, I put a poison ability on top of my Scarlet Rot weapon, and invested some faith to use Black Flame, which is a fireball that burns enemies for % max health damage, making it possible to hurt them, even if I don't have good attack power. And it turns out, melina appears as a summon sign here. With all these factors on our side, we can definitely win.
Okay, summon Meat Shield Waifu. Poison. Gotta hit him a bunch for the Scarlet Rot. You shall rot. You have Ebola, you are doomed. Black Flame. Get off my meat shield. She's mine. She's my meat shield. Get away from her. That strategy did some crazy work. He just dropped. Alright, looks like I'm at the end of Elden Ring, guys. That wasn't really that bad.
Debuffs are broken in this game. And that's it, guys. We've gotten to the end of Elden Ring. I'm going to go into the erdtree now, and...
Looks like it's not over. I can't get in. Why can't I get in? Dude, the throne of Elden Ring is fake. Look at this. It's all fake. It's all a conspiracy. Nothing's real. Meat Shield, you have a lot of explaining to do.
Hello again, old friend.
Old friend? I've talked to you 3 times. What are you talking about?
You were unable to enter the erdtree. No? Prevented by the mantle of barbs. The thorns are impenetrable.
Can't you summon, like, a branch snipping tool from Home Depot or something? Like, this really doesn't have to be that complicated.
In a rare scene where our maiden actually talks to us, she offers us to go on a new adventure. To pass the thorns of the erdtree, we must burn it and get our hands on the Elden Ring. We just have to go to a whole new area. So yeah, it was nice knowing you, Leyndell. You look like a pretty city, but the gang violence is a deal breaker for me. Also this guy. I hate this guy. I don't know what his problem is. We take multiple elevators and leave through the back streets of the city, and now we finally reach the next biome, the Forbidden Lands, which has some twisty looking trees and not much else. Let's build it in Minecraft. Pretty simple area. Past the ruins of Zamor, across the giant wall mountain. This causes us to arrive at the lower area of the mountaintops of the giants, which has some weird floaty trees. It was a simple horseback ride through this whole area. Nothing really got in my way. Easy area to skip. We then go across a giant chain, and I end up at the real mountaintops of the giants, the upper echelon. There are so many dead giants here that I actually had to make 10 variants of them to prepare the paste in the final product. This place was brutal for my level. I had to avoid the enemies because they would take me out in 1 or 2 hits. I got the map for all the areas here too, which meant we were about to reach the actual end of the Elden Ring terrain. One more horrible, awful roadblock remained in my way to completing my goal, the Fire Giant. In my opinion, this is the worst designed boss in the entire game. You can't see what he's doing, and you're stuck looking at his disgusting, disease-ridden feet the entire fight. He just starts rolling around. He's the final boss of the terrain, rolling around everywhere, like a true master of the dirt. His special power? Never falling off. He was born here. He conquered it. He was molded by it, and I'm just another little ant for him to step on. And yeah, this boss actually made me rage for the first time at a video game in a very long time. My fire halberd I've been relying on, completely worthless. This is how much damage I do to him with my hardest hitting weapon. This is how much damage he does to me. Now, I'm level 50 at this point, but I'm pretty sure you're intended to be like level 100. The gap in level was extreme, and the only thing I upgraded were my bow to +3 and my halberd to +8. This truly felt like an impossible boss fight. For once, I couldn't cheese my way out of this either. Even with Poison, Scarlet Rot, and Black Flame, this guy just didn't want to go down. His second phase was so brutal that one mistake spelled the end of me. After 2 hours and 30 tries with a +18 Antspur Rapier, this happened.
It's done, it's over. What, that hit me? No! No! Are you serious? Oh, he's done, he's done. He's gonna fall. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, I'm done. I need a break.
I then proceeded to full-on crash out. I went and crashed out so badly that after another 10 tries on this, I beat him, but forgot to hit the record button. Now I'm just stuck with showing you this. Not fun at all. I absolutely hated this boss. Through sheer determination, I managed to reach the end of the Elden Ring terrain at level 55. At long last, after suffering 71 deaths through the game, we get to the Kiln of the Giants, where we reach the end of our journey, at the top of the world, and at the top of the giant mountains. Our reward for this? We get to watch our maiden set herself on fire and self-delete, making us maidenless again. And that is where our journey ends, for now at least. Before we get into building the whole map, I want to note that this is not even close to the end of Elden Ring as a game. There's so much I skipped and didn't explore. There's a whole multi-part underground area, the DLC world, and underground dungeon areas, the Haligtree, and so much more, such as Fair Mazula, which is where I ended up after the events of Melina's burning. We'll come back to this later in the video. But anyways, that actually covers all the main terrain for Elden Ring. We have officially gotten all the maps for all the areas, and have built common game assets for terrain in each biome. Now we have all the information we need to actually start creating the entire map of Elden Ring in Minecraft. The programs we are going to be using include paint.net, world painter, amulet editor, and of course, Minecraft. To effectively make the Elden Ring map on a 1-to-1 ratio to Minecraft, we will need to create a height map based on topography information we can get pretty accurately from all the maps we collected in-game. Now, hold on, what are height maps, you might ask? I have another video explaining it here, but basically it turns a 2D image into a 3D map using different shades of gray. So we're going to draw 20 different colors on top of an image of the actual Elden Ring map, representing 20 different heights. I want this map to be playable in survival too, which means players should be able to mine and find caves if they start digging. With this in mind, I decided to restrict the sea level to 0, so players can mine down 64 blocks if they like, leaving us with plenty of room to add more underground features later, such as dungeons or the Radon crater. The highest point in the game for vanilla Minecraft would be a height limit of 320. To compare the Elden Ring, the absolute highest points in that game being Mountaintops of the Giants and Mount Gelmir. Every other area won't even come close. With all this information and a solid plan at our disposal, we now have to come up with an equation for converting the height map to World Painter to make sure all the heights are consistent with the Minecraft game. Here it is on screen. The first step to creating this height map is removing all unnecessary features on the map. We want the sea level to be perfect black and the highest areas to be pure white. So naturally, we're going to start by removing the ocean from the image and tracing out the entire map pixel by pixel. This took me 20 hours to do, by the way. Once we're finished, I'm making a few test renders of this at the top of the Giants area to test and see if the height map is converting correctly compared to its surroundings, which after a few test renders was successful. Then I used the wand tool in paint.net to systematically cut out areas that were all the exact same color, meaning their height in game was roughly the same. Constantly editing and painting over it while I had the game open on my other monitor, making sure everything to check if everything was being done properly. We rinse and repeat this extremely long process, hand painting anything that the magic wand tool couldn't identify automatically. Additionally, there were flaws in some areas of the Elden Ring map image, where the color didn't match up to the height. I had to investigate these places in game and paint it by hand. After about 200 hours of working on this image and exploring in game, I intentionally adjusted some parts, especially outside of the playable areas of the map, to make this feasible in Minecraft. I had finally created a general usable height map of Elden Ring in Minecraft. This is the world's first height map of Elden Ring, the ultimate blueprint to create the rest of the map. I could not contain my hype. Unfortunately, I was in for a very unexpected surprise.
It's a brand new beginning, guys. The world's first Elden Ring map in Minecraft fully created. Coming to you hot.
The ultimate Elden Ring in Minecraft is now within our grasp. Let's get to work. I imported the height map into World Painter and started meticulously sculpting the terrain, spending hours in each area, trying to get everything perfect. And let me tell you, the amount of time it took with recordings to make this was insane. Some of these recordings are 9 hours long, just to put the time sink of this into perspective. All the while, I'd be moving my character to certain areas to observe and recreate everything as accurately as possible, and I started realizing how long this was going to take. I really did not know what I was getting myself into or the sheer amount of content there was on just the surface of Elden Ring. As the days passed, I wondered if I'd ever finish this. I took breaks sometimes. Every day I'd try to put at least 6 hours into it. As the days melded together, so did my mind. At times I wanted to give up, but I kept pushing, as I was too far into this project where quitting was even an option. And so the project continued. A few times I had to redo certain parts. The true difficulty of making this was setting in. Until one day, it was starting to look like a proper map, accurate to Elden Ring. The motivation was coming back in droves. Now that I could see the end result, I continued with more haste than ever before. Elden Ring in Minecraft was closer than ever. And then, disaster struck. My World Painter file and the backup file got corrupted. I was absolutely devastated and defeated. All that time for nothing. My work deleted before my very eyes. I have to do it all again. I have to do it all again. It was time to sit down and really think about what I was doing with my life. I was more down than ever. It's over. Time to give up and throw in the towel.
Universe, give me a sign. I'm lost. All that time is gone in my life. What do I do? I don't know what to do.
Take care to listen.
Yes, a sign. I'm listening.
You are maidenless.
What the?
Feel free to go off and die in a ditch somewhere.
You know what? Thank you, Vari, for reigniting my hatred for you. I am now motivated to complete this map, and when I finish that, I will find you. You shall die a death fitting for a villain. Let's get back to work.
And so, thanks to my hatred of Vari, I remembered. We still weren't out of this game yet. There was a flash drive with an older, non-corrupted version. This was my ticket to completing the map. I took a break for a few months, and then came back to the project. As I textured and added common game structures to it, everything started coming together. In a storm of work and new creative motivation, the world's first full Elden Ring map in Minecraft was born. Everything looked better than I had ever imagined. Even someone who has never played Minecraft before could instantly recognize every place in the original Elden Ring game. I had to make quite a few tweaks to the map to get everything just right, and just like that, I uploaded the map, and everything was good. The journey of this project was over, I thought. I had accomplished what I wanted to do, and it was time to move on to the next project. Surely, nobody would really care too much about some guy making Minecraft maps as a hobby. I mean, hey, I've uploaded gigantic projects that are even bigger than this one on here before, and it might get some views, but overall, I don't think people really care. My work here is done. It's time to take my leave and ride off into the sunset on my Minecraft torrent.
And this, what's he doing? Is to go even further beyond.
Okay, we disable gravity, we're gonna go down and... Wait, this doesn't look right. Where are all the houses? How did I just die? I have no death on. What do you mean? I have no idea what's happening. I think I just broke the game. No, go away, shut up.
But you,
Go
I can
away,
play
shut
the role
up.
of maiden to aid you in your search.
Just warp to Leyndell. Why is it burned down? Why is the tree on fire? Why is the whole place sand? Where did Leyndell go? Finally! Why was that so annoying? Okay guys, if you're wondering why I just suddenly started cheating, it's because I want to see a overhead view of Leyndell, so I need this tool to kind of fly around. This allows me to get a better read and sense of proportion on the build, so I'm not just cheating for no reason.
To build Leyndell, we will need to pull out all the stops. Every tool, every method will need to be pulled out from my building arsenal. We're going to have to use some very unorthodox methods if we want to succeed in creating this. Let's start by getting a bird's eye view of Leyndell. I'm going to run around everywhere and just take mental notes of everything in my head. So I started walking around and began mapping out and studying Leyndell since it's a very confusing level. I also got a special tool called Ninja Ripper, which would allow me to extract 3D models from Elden Ring and drop them into a 3D program called Blender, which after doing a few tweaks, I could then convert it to Minecraft through this very lengthy process I described in this other video. And also this video. After that, I shape and size it in a voxelizer and paste it into Minecraft using a program called Amulet. With this long and jank process, I was able to get a rough, textureless 3D model of Leyndell at a perfect ratio in Minecraft. However, there's one major problem. The height limit of Minecraft is 320 blocks, and Leyndell in the game is an extremely vertical city. If we convert this perfectly into Minecraft, the height of the taller buildings actually exceed Minecraft's height limit by a small margin. Additionally, the area where Leyndell was meant to be built on the terrain is at Y level 170, meaning if leyndell is made at a 1-to-1 ratio on the current map, it will be cut off by the height limit. So, how do we work around this? Easy. We're going to place leyndell starting at negative 64 blocks under the surface in another area of the map. This will allow us to avoid height issues and also give us infinite sizing to build the main city. We're going to wall it off like in the main game and add a command block that teleports you to the main city at the draconic tree sentinel entrance. The next problem is the scale and size of the erdtree. The original erdtree converts the entire sky of Elden Ring and is so extremely tall that it would exceed Minecraft's height limit 100 times over if made accurately. Additionally, it will cause a lot of lag for SMP players if we compress a giant tree over the whole world, so we need a solution. I'll come back to this later. What really matters is, where do I even start making the main city in the new area? Even with all these tools and research on my side, this was too big of a project to do by myself. This is when I started looking online for help, and realized someone had actually started this project already in the Conquest mod of Minecraft. A legendary builder who had spent the time sizing this out to perfection. This builder's name is Manofdutch. He created this version of modded leyndell in the Conquest mod of Minecraft, using an amazing amount of detail. The problem is, this was built in a heavily modded version of Minecraft, meaning I couldn't use this in my project. Or can I? Well, you see, it's still made of blocks. I can size out the houses using vanilla blocks and add it back with perfect size. So this logically is a starting point. I want to note I couldn't fit all the building in this recording because the city was just way too large to fit. So we're going to be skipping over a lot of the creation process for this. Even with all these techniques, a lot of the build that I originally got wasn't finished. So I actually had to merge unfinished parts with the original build and size it accordingly. After lots of work, the city ended up being the largest city I've ever created in Minecraft, sized at a massive 1500 by 1200 blocks. And this isn't even counting the erdtree, which I later decided a solution would be to take a fan-made 3D model of the erdtree from the game and remove the leaves from it, and then compress the top of it heavily to just be barely under the height limit. I then added leaves, glowstone, and yellow stained glass to it. I also built Morgott's arena, and the final product looked insane. This truly is an amazing arena that definitely has infinite possibilities for developers in Minecraft. And at long last, leyndell was created. We'll come back and improve leyndell even more later. Leyndell has a whole underground area, and a lower part that I just didn't have the time to fully complete. There's also the exit section to the Forbidden Lands, and many more areas I wasn't able to cover for now. Moving on to the next highlight, the Haligtree. Probably the second biggest build in Elden Ring, maybe aside from Farum Azula. Conveniently, this was actually commissioned out to us a few years ago. Major credit of this goes to Iwanfix, who made this with immaculate detail. This will get pasted into the ocean over here. Let's take a quick tour of it. So in game you spawn here and you go through the level, traveling to houses. Here's the Loretta knockoff enemy arena. And when you end up going down to the Haligtree, you enter the city, you fight off a bunch of enemies, go down here through the city, and eventually you get to Malenia's arena. Some cuts in the level had to be made due to size, but overall this is very accurate and probably the coolest looking build on the map so far. So yeah, in all honesty, I didn't expect the video to turn out this long. I had a lot more plans for this map, but Elden Ring Nightreign is coming out, and I want to go fully enjoy it. As I said at the beginning of the video, everything here is up for download in the description, and helps support me to create this project, and everyone else involved. If this video gets a lot of downloads, likes, and supports, I'll make a part 2 to this video where I play through and create the entire underground terrain world of Elden Ring, which will be accessible to players via Nether portal, allowing for some extremely cool survival mechanics. And then after that, who knows, maybe I'll just go on to build the whole game. We definitely covered a huge chunk of the building process for the main game in this video. So far, anything is possible. If you're interested with helping out with this massive project and my other ongoing projects, I'm opening a building bounty system in my Discord where you can help make these dream projects a reality, and in some cases, even get paid for building some of this stuff in Minecraft. Join our Discord and apply. I also have a Minecraft server that's basically Elden Ring and Minecraft already. If you want to come check it out, it's cosmoverse.com. I have other content about it on this channel. And as usual, like, share, and subscribe. See you guys later.